So Google is apparently having some sort of testing done for implementing ready-to-play games directly in the YouTube app on your favorite device. And that's pretty cool, I guess. I don't really think anyone really asked for that though, especially for an app like YouTube where its main focus is videos. I mean, if they really want to improve something on that app, they should update the chat feature on the live streams because it's been whacked for years now. And overall, Google and gaming just hasn't had the best relationship so far, at least when you consider their last venture into the medium with Google Stadia, a now dead and decaying corpse of a gaming via the internet service. But regardless of what you feel about Google and their decisions they make with attempting easy to access gaming, what they tried and are trying to do is actually part of a really good revolutionary movement when it comes to the next age of gaming. As technology advances and we humans continue to create things to the point where it literally drives our extinction, gaming becomes more and more widespread and available. Like, take the Google Stadia I just mentioned. Before it died because of poor management, it was delivering something that people growing up in the 80s and 90s with gaming probably wouldn't even dream of having. And that's playing the best games out using only your internet connection with no expensive console or hardware required. And it's not like, this idea just died with Google Stadia. Right now, there's a plethora of companies with actual successful cloud gaming services that's made gaming become more affordable and accessible than ever for millions of people. But even with all these services out there, we still have millions of consoles and PCs being sold every month, and there's no sign of that stopping anytime soon. So is there even a possibility of that changing in the future and people just completely buying into the idea of gaming on the cloud? Well, you all know me. I like to answer these questions to the best of my ability and maybe roast a few companies in the process because, why not? So today, hopefully I can leave you with a better understanding for the future of cloud gaming. So before we talk about the future, we gotta talk about the right now, because we need to understand what the cloud gaming state is as we speak before we get all hypothetical and all that good shit, because there's still the possibility of all these services going Google Stadia. So like I said before, there's a lot of companies doing cloud gaming right now like Xbox and Amazon Luna, who are pretty successful and have a steady player base. These companies usually have a monthly fee anywhere from $15 and up, and the premium services reach closer to $50 if you bundle different game packs to access with it. So it's not the most expensive service on the surface level, but once you add up all the yearly costs, it can likely become a heavy expense that eats more into your pockets when compared to just buying, a gaming system outright. Not to mention some companies that make you buy the games outright instead of bundling them with the services, so you have to keep that in mind when calculating the monthly expense on cloud gaming. But that's just buying the service. What about how it actually works? Well, as you could probably imagine, in order to run a AAA title like Assassin's Creed, for example, you're gonna need a really good internet connection to stream the game from the company servers back to your device. There are some really good optimized services like GeForce Now for even the weakest of connections and hardware, but you're still likely going to be plagued with the occasional lag and stutter, which no one wants to deal with, especially if you're trying to play a competitive title. But for the most part, you could mostly get away with having a decent and average connection, for most games, especially if you live alone or with minimal people using your bandwidth. So ultimately, it's really good, just not perfected. So that's really the basis of what cloud gaming is today, for better or worse. So what does that mean for the future of the platform? Well, it's actually growing. More and more people are becoming more interested in the service, but for reasons I mentioned before, like the overall prices and poor connections, those are some of the main factors hindering the popularity of the service. And this hasn't gone unnoticed by big companies. Xbox, for example, has bundled their, game streaming service with their Ultimate Game Pass as a way of getting it in more hands, and also up-and-coming technology brands are investing millions into making more servers to get even better connections for cloud gaming. It's obvious that companies see the future for this platform and are investing early in adopting it. And as for the big console companies, seeing that manufacturing the consoles literally puts them at a loss, which is partly the reason that companies like PlayStation and Xbox charge so much for online services, the other reason is just greed, there could very much be a future where even big names like these could see a switch in having a big focus on cloud gaming. How far that is down the line is a mystery, but it's likely not that far away since companies like PlayStation already have patents for their own versions of a cloud system, something that I talked about a while ago. So undoubtedly, more money is going to be put into developing the service, which will lead to more innovation. Now, a lot of that sounds like a utopia period for gaming, just having access to your favorite PlayStation games without taking up any space and just jumping straight into it, sure. But there's the big elephant in the room that's always going to be in the back of everyone's mind when it comes to cloud gaming, really brought to light because of the Google Stadia situation. And that is the scenario if for some reason the service for your favorite cloud service just shuts down. With this platform relying completely on the internet connection, if you don't have it, you automatically lose access to your game library, which would be annoying as hell to deal with, especially if you paid for the game and the service. Or even if it's only on your end and you just have a bad rainstorm and the internet gets knocked out, you still can't play your game. So that's ultimately why physical consoles and PCs with the ability to install games will likely always be needed in some capacity. But even though we likely can't do away with them anytime soon, that doesn't still mean that cloud gaming won't be as big as the consoles are now in the future. So what do you guys think about the future of cloud gaming, man? Feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, leave a like on the video, subscribe, check out the Patreon if you're interested.